Baruch.
Test.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the Alumni Lecture number 4 for this fiscal year 2013. I like you and I am not like you. The title of the lecture is very intriguing for all of us because we all want to know more about the I and about the you. In other words, about self-awareness and about acceptance and appreciation of the self and others. The lecture is presented by our own alumnus, Mr. Habbal, who is also a friend. Amr has a diversified career in marketing, sales, business development, and advertising. He has attended several executive education courses in Harvard Business School and in SEAD. He is a certified executive coach from the University of Strathclyde and a member of the International Coach Federation, ICF, and an accredited NBTI practitioner. Thank you, Amr, for accepting to give us this lecture. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you. Working? So, good evening. Yeah. It's Friday afternoon. Good evening.
Good evening.
Come on. Because by the time, if I didn't get a lot of interaction, you're going to start doing some exercise. So, I'm warning you. Okay? Anyway. So my name is Habbal. I thank LAU back for inviting me here. It's a pleasure. Actually, it's a challenge and it's an excitement for me. It's a challenge. Now I'm going to tell you what. It's an excitement because I have the chance to give something back to the university that I graduated from more than 15 years ago. Graduation from LAU, that was another story. I will not get into it. Some people know my story in graduation. Right? And it's very challenging for me because this topic, I usually give it as a workshop or as a program, and it takes around 8 to 16 hours. And now they're asking me to do it in 1 hour. Now I'm going to take more than an hour, but with your interaction, of course. And it's a challenge because how do we learn things? We don't learn it by attending lectures. Let's agree on that, right? By practice, absolutely. We go to a lecture, we hear good stuff. The lecture might be good, might be bad. It doesn't matter. If we are convinced of something, we might go and start applying it. When we apply it, we make mistakes and we face challenges. And then we go back and ask about the challenge that we have faced. So this is the challenge again, that in 1 hour and 1 hour and a half, I'm trying to share with you things. I'm not trying to teach you anything. I'm not in a position to teach you anything. Actually, some of you know what Socrates said. He said that I cannot teach anybody anything. I can only make them think, right? And for the people who know what coaching is about that. So my profession is a coach, is a business coach. And as a profession, I help people think. I don't teach anybody anything because it doesn't work. So today, I usually do that one-on-one and in groups. And in one-on-one is a beautiful thing, and it's over a period of time. Now I'm trying to make almost 100 people think. Again, that's a challenge, but I think we're going to have some fun. Okay? So what are we talking about? The title of the lecture, I don't like the word lecture, but it is a lecture. It's I like you and I'm not like you. So a lot of people are coming here with different expectations, right? Can I hear a couple of expectations? Anybody? What do you expect when you heard about the title? What it means? Absolutely. And when you say what you are as what? Absolutely. As a person and as a character. Because in Lebanon, when we say we're different, you know where we go. And that's exactly what we're not talking about today. Okay, as a character and as a person, absolutely.
Respect of the other, even if he has his own life, his own
ideology.
Absolutely. Respect. This is a beautiful word, respect. When you respect the other for whatever she is or he is, that's an absolute beautiful thing. And the people who we say that they're comfortable with themselves, there are a lot of people you say, this person is comfortable with himself, right? And you see that they have so much confidence. Actually, he or she is comfortable with herself because she's respecting the other as they are. Now, it's easily said, because in a lot of times, there are interferences. And our mind doesn't function as rationally as what you're speaking now. So there's a difference between knowing something and doing it, right? Makes sense? Now remember, makes sense?
Yes.
You work with the stick. Okay, so let me introduce it this way. In relationships, there is a certain potential for the relationship. Actually, first, let me introduce the notes that you have. Okay, the notes that you have, as you will see, there are not a lot of material written on it because you are going to write. It's not a test. It's for you just to put on the thoughts that you are thinking of. Again, it's helping you think. So, I'm referring to the first one now. In every relationship, we have a certain potential that this relationship can be better than what it currently is. If I ask a lot of couples, a lot of partners, can your relationship be better than what it is today? And almost everyone will say yes. We are fine, or we are not fine. But there is a certain potential that is higher. And I ask, why are you not there? It's because of a lot of interferences. And these interferences, when I ask people, they are external. They tell me the other person is like this, and the other person is like that. And the country is a very difficult country. And the company I'm working in is putting a lot of pressure. So everything is really external. And this is very interesting because I coach in different parts of the world. And actually, I just came back from Dubai yesterday. And people were saying, here in Dubai, it's a very difficult market. It's a very difficult life, a lot of pressure, and that's why we lose control over our character, and we say things we don't mean. And then I was in Angola last month, and there is a saying there that's called Aqui é Angola. There's a saying that says, this is Angola. And whenever I talk to people there, they said, Angola is very difficult, more difficult than others. And don't we believe that Lebanon is a very difficult country? Right? So it's really not about where we are, right? It's about the internal interferences. So the difference between the potential and the current performance are internal interferences. There are a lot of other interferences. What we're talking about today is the interference of our self-awareness, of how much do we know ourselves and do we know others. Okay? So I'm going to put forward a lot of questions today. For example, what energizes people? Different people are energized by different things. Okay? Other thing is, why does she think like that? Who is she? My wife. Yeah. And now she's here, I'm not going to point at her. But why does she think like that? How can she think like that? And I'm saying, of course, I know how she's thinking. But usually in couples, they say, you're so narrow-minded. You're not understanding me. Because you only think about this small thing that you cannot get out of. We don't accept the others, and then we forget about what we're talking about, accepting the others. And so why are you like this? And then other question is like, do we let our children be? So if we see our children acting in a certain way, a lot of people, they say that we should nurture them, and other people, they say we should let them be because we should not interfere with their personality nurturing. Huge questions, actually. Now, the nice thing about today is that we're not going to answer them. And how do I trust? How do I trust people? A lot of people, they get the trust like this. You go to a person, you talk to that person, and you send him an idea. You go to another person, you say exactly the same thing, but he tells you this is the most stupid idea ever. So what's the difference? It's not the idea. It's not the way you presented it. It's about the way this person trusted you. Yeah? Am I making sense? Level 5 leadership. Have you heard about level 5 leadership? Yeah? So, anything about it?
The connection between humanity and peace.
Absolutely, absolutely. And the trick here, in my point, is humility. And where does humility come from? That's how am I Am I so humble in front of the other that in knowledge he might be inferior to me, but still there is a humility in that. That's the 5 years. My boss is so narrow-minded. Do you know anybody saying that? Is there a boss and a subordinate here? There's some problem. So as we see that they're all very judgmental thinking. And what about emotional intelligence? Do you know what emotional intelligence is? Almost everybody knows what emotional intelligence is. But what is emotional intelligence?
Social intelligence. Social intelligence.
Social.
It's the way you deal with others.
Absolutely. But I'm gonna try to. Okay, I'm going to try to simplify emotional intelligence in four simple steps because it's very relevant to what we're doing. So emotional intelligence has 4 parts actually. It starts with the most important thing, that is self-awareness. Right? And that's what we're talking about. Self-awareness. But without it, you're not into emotional intelligence yet. If you're aware of yourself, for example, if you say that, I'm a asabi, I get angry very, very quickly. That's a good self-awareness, right? Does it help by itself? No. What do you need after you are aware that you get angry very fast? Face and change, control. And in order not to insult anybody, because control insults some people, we say self-management. Right? So I am aware of how I'm feeling, but I'm managing it. So في كتير ناس بيقولوا you know what, أنا زلمة عصبي، ما حدا يحكي معي، لما زحكيت معي بدي أعصب عليك، أنت بتعرفني. So self-aware, but is not self-managing himself or herself, and she's using it as a carte blanche. أنا عصبي. So what? It's your problem, right? So does it stop here, or it goes further than myself? Absolutely. Which is others' awareness. And logically, it's what? Absolutely. It's relationship management. Okay? So emotional intelligence, as big and vast the idea is, can be summarized in these 4 things. You know yourself, you manage yourself, you know the other, you manage the relationship, you're socially intelligent. Not that simple, but to simplify it. There is no link actually. Here, you should know about the differences in people. So it's not moving from one to another. It's a whole system together. Okay? So it's not moving from self-management to others' awareness. It's about knowing the differences in people, and that's what we're doing today. In order to understand the others, understand myself. Okay? So, how is that related to what we're doing? It is exactly what we're doing. We're trying to increase the awareness of the self. Why we're doing that? If one does not understand the person, and this is Carl Jung said it, one tends to regard him as a fool. When we don't understand another person, we say he's stupid. Right? We might not say it out loud, but we think it. And look at the controversy. Who's not understanding? Me. Who's stupid? The other person. It doesn't make sense. But we say that. So it's very important to understand all of it. What coaching is, as I said before, is increasing awareness, instilling responsibility. But what we did not say is to take action. What we're doing today is absolutely not the whole thing. We don't have time to do all this. Okay? So now, what we're trying to do is to increase some awareness of some concepts from just managing the expectations. Okay? What are the objectives of today? Is to understand self-awareness, is to increase tolerance, and somebody said it as an objective, and why you said it, I think. Normality, reassurance. Am I a normal person? I feel that a lot of people, they tell me I'm not very sociable. Probably there is something wrong in me. And probably not. So it's normality, reassurance. And enhanced daily communication. These are the objectives, but we don't want to go behind those. We're trying to discuss them in 1 hour. But my major objective for today is the following. Forget about everything else. My major objective today is the following. What do you see here? Circus, some details. Hmm? There's a dog, yeah. More? Horses. Okay, so I want everybody to twist their head to the right. To the right. That's the right way, that's me. Actually, it's a clown. Okay, so my major objective today is to introduce you to something, to look at things in a different manner. That's all what I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to convince you about anything. Actually, you're gonna see at the end of the 1 hour and a half that we have together. I'm not trying to convince you of anything. I'm trying to change your perspective of one thing. Okay, so that's my contract with you. This is what I'm trying to do today. Please, you have a workshop partner. Each one, right or left, pick a partner. Now, within 2 seconds. Okay? If you don't know the person, that's even better. Actually, that's a lot better. Okay? So now all together, I'm gonna count till 3. At 3, you're gonna say, ta-da, and you're gonna show me your partner. Okay? 1, 2, 3. Absolutely. And at this point, there are people who were doing like this. You didn't see any partner, you went there. This partner, you went there. If you find this case, go for trios, no problem. Okay? So each one has a partner? Good. What we're talking about, so everything that we're going to talk about, we're going to use a tool. This tool is called MBTI. Okay, MBTI is Myers-Briggs Type Indicator. What I like about this tool is that it's an indicator. A lot of people, they do these personality tests, and when you say tests, it's failing and succeeding. It doesn't make sense. We're talking about personality. There's no right and wrong. We all agree on that. So it's an indicator. It's not a test, and that's what I like about it. How are we going to do that? We're going to discuss 4 different dimensions of a personality. I'm going to explain 4 different dimensions, and for each dimension, each one of you, he or she is going to decide for herself, I am here or there. For 4 of them. Okay? Again, here I'm intriguing your thinking, and this is what we're going to do. If anybody came here to listen to a lecture, I'm sorry to disappoint you. You are going to think. Okay? So, but what are the possibilities if you're choosing this or that, what are the possibilities? Mathematically, I don't know how to do it. There are 16 different personalities. The 16 different personalities are as follows. Yeah? They make sense, right? So usually people come here and say, what are you talking about? And when they go out, they see people with letters on the forehead. Yeah, you are an ENFP. What? You are an ISTJ. Okay, so that would be by the end of the session. But here, how can you challenge me? And please do challenge me. That there are 16 different personalities in the world. How can you challenge that? We're in Lebanon. We challenge.
It's difficult to challenge because why would we study with study?
No, challenge it. 16 different personalities? Just 16. That's exactly the point. How many people are we on Earth?
7 billion.
7 point something billion, absolutely. And for 7 billion people, there are only 16 different personalities. It doesn't make sense. Exactly. Which doesn't make sense, right? So, for example, if I am an ENFP and you are an ENFP, does it mean that you are the same person? Absolutely not. What does it mean? But what does it mean that we have ENFP together? It means that we have general characteristics that are the same. Exactly. What are these general characteristics? Are these characteristics that we were born with? And then after we were born with, that are innate. We're going to nurturing, right? Into the society, into the family. I'm not going there a lot. Okay? True, right? I'm a fair person. I try to. Okay, so what is the difference?
Is it the same like the type of intelligence?
Types of intelligence?
No.
No. Totally different. This is about the innate difference in people. And they are innate as well, but it's about the character, not about the intelligence. Okay? So, but to explain it further, each one of us has a certain fingerprint, right? This is actually what defines the uniqueness in the world. That if you want to find a difference between one person and another, teeth and fingerprints. But even in fingerprints, there are categories. So my fingerprint can be an arc, and your fingerprint can be an arc. But we have different fingerprints. Exactly the same thing in personalities. We have certain characteristics that are the same, but it doesn't mean that we are the same person. Okay? A small history about where it came from. Carl Jung is a Swiss psychologist. Okay, that is the father of all psychology of personality differences. And he wrote a lot of books. If we read any of these books, we're not going to understand anything. Okay? Because it's about psychology. Some people are going to understand. So, two ladies, Myers and Briggs, a woman and her daughter, they took these concepts and they translated them into a language that we understand. And hence it became the Myers-Briggs type indicator. And no. They nothing to do with it. So Myers and her daughter Briggs. Okay. So whenever you hear about the personality profiling, there is the disc, there is the insight. A lot of personality. You are a red, I'm a white, you're a yellow. They're all based on Carl Jung, but they're different languages. Okay. So Carl Jung is the father of personality. Now each one of you privately, without discussing it, write very fast 3 words about the ocean. No questions asked. Just whatever 3 words about the ocean, write them. We're going to check them later.
Where do we write them? Where do we write them? Anywhere?
Wherever you want. They're yours. Okay? Try not to share them now with your partner. You're going to share them later. So, as I told you, I'm going to explain a certain personality preference and a difference between 1 and 2, and you're going to decide between both. But you're going to tell me at each one, I promise you, that I do both. How can I choose? Okay? Now you're going to get what I'm talking about. So here, I will ask you at one of your papers to write your name. That's it. To write your name. Okay, so if you want to flip the page, like page I think 3 or 4. Yeah, page 4. Okay, write your name and your family name. And in this gray box. One of them. Okay? Now do the same with your other hand. Alright, exactly the same thing.
And the second box?
The second box, yes. How does that feel? Very hard, yeah? More comments? طلع أحلى? Is it, except Hassan, what is the result? Better or worse? It's worse, right? Did it take more time? Absolutely. So, بعيد الشر. I don't know what. بعيد الشر. You broke your right or your natural hand for 3 years, and you cannot use it. You're going to use the other hand. After 3 years, how will it feel? It's as if it's natural, right? So after 3 years, I ask you, which one do you prefer? You're going to tell me, I don't know. This is my natural. This is what I'm used to. I don't know anymore. Right? The personality is the same. when I'll explain a difference between a character and a character, you're going to tell me that I am both. And here I'm going to ask you to reach out for your natural hand. Forget about what happened to you in this society, in this life. Forget about that. Forget about that. You probably broke your right hand for a long period of time, and you had to use the left hand. And this is going to be difficult. And if it wasn't difficult, it would have been boring. Of course it's going to be difficult. Okay? We're going to talk more about that, but I'm just preparing you. To get there as well, let me introduce the self-concept very fast. Now, excuse me if I'm going for some of the things too quick. Again, I told you that we're just trying to cover the whole. So, what we're saying is that each one of us has a certain personality, right? Right? We agree on that? Now I'm going to tell you is that each one of us has multiple personalities. Multiple personalities. What I'm saying is the following. My personality here, what am I doing now? I'm coaching or lecturing. I prefer coaching. When I go and play basketball, what am I? I'm a player. When I go home, what I am I? Absolutely. A slave. I'm a father and a slave. And whenever I go, actually, I have my own business, right? And I go to people to sell my business. I go there as what? As a salesperson. Is my personality the same when I'm coaching now? The same as when I go home and speak to my wife? The same as when I go and sell my services? Do I have the same personality? Absolutely different. Different personality.
You may have the same personality, but different approach.
Different behaviors?
And approach.
Okay. في أشياء common. Okay, very good. So we're getting there.
Yes.
I will go back. But do you hear about self-esteem? Yes. Some people have low self-esteem, some people have higher self-esteem. What is self-esteem? Let me explain it very fast. Self-esteem comes from the following. Each one of us has a certain self-ideal. Okay? A self-ideal. As a coach, my self-ideal is the image that I have as an ideal coach, what a coach should be. He should be 1, 2, 3. I call that self-ideal. My self-ideal as a coach is different than your self-ideal as a coach. Right? Make sense? Make sense?
Yes.
Thank you. بمقابلها شو بيكون فيه؟ بيكون فيه self image. Okay? Absolutely. You're absolutely right. So, it's not ideal. My self-image is not ideal. Right? Some people, they have it ideal. So, the difference between... So, what is my self-image? Is the way I see myself as a coach. I'm telling you the example as a coach. The difference between them... The difference between them is what?
Practice.
Is my esteem. Absolutely. Now think about that. If my self-image, or even my self-ideal, is close, what would be my self-esteem? High. Far, low. So this is where self-esteem comes from. That's one way to understand it. Does it make a bit of sense? Is my self-esteem now the same when I'm coaching as when I'm playing as when I'm selling? Is different. Yes, and I'm not. Only at this. Yeah, so it's different. My self-esteem differ between one and another. Does it make sense? Okay. So now, the way I want you to answer the question that I'm going to tell you, decide where you... Do not answer it from your self-image. Why? Because your self-image might be the left hand that you've been using. Do not definitely answer it from your self-ideal. Ideally, as a business person, as a manager, I should be P, not J, or J, not P. Do not answer it from that. Do not answer it as a manager, or as a husband, or as a sister, or as a... Where do you want to answer it? From here. And thus, coming back to what you said, there are things that are here. Okay, that's easier said than done. What I'm describing sounds easy. It's not, because now as I'm going to explain, you're going to tell me, but how can I reach that? Okay? And this is where you have to dig. I cannot do it for you. You have to dig. Okay?
Can you say the true self?
Hmm?
Another word for this.
The true self, absolutely, but getting to the true self, even if I want to be very honest with myself, sometimes it's very difficult. But that's the nice thing about self-awareness. That is very difficult to achieve, and whenever you achieve it, it's absolutely nice. Absolutely. Absolutely. This is the challenge. It's more challenging that we're not discussing one-on-one. Yeah? But this is the challenge in your head. The better I try to explain to you the difference, the better you're going to have the answer. And by the end of the 4 dimensions, we're going to have some tricks to know more about if you answered right or not. Okay? And in the actual MBTI that we do, it's not only a discussion, it's an actual questionnaire, which will help you again answer this question. But today we're not going to do that. Okay? Yeah. So what are the 4 dimensions? The first dimension is energy. Let's talk about extroversion and introversion. Do you know the terms? Okay. And here we're going to talk about we're going to talk about the self-image and the society, the way we look at things. What is an extrovert? What is an introvert? Anybody? Does not need to go to the others to do what? Does not need to. Doesn't want to. So introverts are antisocial. Does it feel comfortable? Okay. Fine, I'm going to take and then I'm going to say my opinion. Yeah? Yeah?
It's already stimulating. Whereas the extroverts, they have to go out, they have to meet people so that they
To stimulate. Absolutely. That's a very nice description of that. Now you burnt my slides. No, I'm kidding. This is perfect, actually. This is perfect.
You're more independent. Introvert is a self-motivated person. Extrovert is motivation from others.
But a little bit, yeah, exaggerated, but it's on the same direction. Yes? They don't show what? Feeling? Okay. We're going to talk about another dimension that people will show feeling or not. But you started on the right track that extrovert need to get energy from others. And that's absolutely correct. Self-sufficient is a good word. Absolutely. Absolutely. Introvert? They waste? If they spend a lot of time with them, they suck energy out of them. Sometimes it's true. Absolutely. I have very good answers for now. So first, we're going to say that there are no extrovert people and introvert people. There are introverted and extroverted. There is no absolute extrovert or introvert. Okay? So whenever you're gonna decide on yourself if you're an introvert or extrovert, you're not extrovert or introvert, you're introverted or extroverted. Okay?
And it's somewhere in the middle.
It is always somewhere in the middle in all dimensions. But how much in the middle, that's the question. And we're gonna get to that one. So introvert people are shy. Right? No? They're not shy? Not necessarily. Absolutely true. Because shy, what is shyness? Shyness is I don't want, it's not that. It's I don't want to show my true self in front of others. That's shyness. A lot of extroverted people are like that, are shy. So shyness does not equal introvert. Okay? 1. 2, they're always sad. They're always, why am I mentioning that? Because there are some perception about that. They're always down and sad. And they live in their... Absolutely. When do they become confident? When they become comfortable with themselves. But if an introverted person, a lot of other people, they're telling me, you're an introvert, sit in the corner, and he takes it very seriously, he's not going to be confident. So whenever he's confident about it and comfortable and very comfortable with himself, he's going to be very confident with others. They live in a cocoon. Absolutely not. They're always shy from people. Absolutely not. So what I'm trying to do first is to remove some perceptions for some people that might have it. Okay? This is not introversion. I'm going to tell you what introversion is, and we have already a clue about it. Extrovert people are leaders, and they're always very happy. No? A leader is not. Leaders are extrovert. Yes. Any challenge? Leaders are extrovert.
Not necessarily.
Do we know any leaders who are introverted? Malcolm X. Okay. I'm not sure about it. That's probably it. Gandhi, absolutely. Hitler, 100%. Actually, Barack Obama is introverted. Yeah? So leader does not have to be extrovert. But a lot of people, they think, yes, a leader should be an extrovert because he has to speak to people. So you're assuming that an introvert person does not speak. It doesn't make it speaks. Okay? So if this is not what I'm trying to do, not what is extroversion and introversion? Extroversion is being energized through contact with other people, stimulated by others. As simple as that. The outer world. Introversion is being energized through ideas. The more I think on myself, the more I'm energized. بعبي بنزين. That's the way بعبي بنزين. Okay? فكروا فيها ايه؟ من وين بعبي بنزين? Where do I get my energy from? A person cannot be but both. Yeah? But how are you introverted or extroverted? Again. But you cannot be one of them. Yeah? To all extent. Absolutely. You are joining both. But at the and now we're going to talk about it. So, mayor so far. ما في 50. 50-50 doesn't exist. 60-40 yes. Okay? Definitions here? Are we going too fast? We're going too fast. Are we going too slow? For some people we're going too slow.
Can we go back to the extroversion?
Yes.
Thank you.
It's Friday night. He doesn't want? No. He needs it less? No. I will explain. So again, up till here I'm saying what is not in order to remove current perception in the head of people. There are a lot of bad perception about, wrong perception about extroversion and introversion. So now we're getting to that. And if I did not answer the question, remind me. Okay? So, I have to move on. So what is the Latin, to really understand it, the Latin origin of introvert and extrovert. Intro is where what? Inside. Vertere is to turn. So introvert is to turn to the inside to get the energy. Extrovert is to turn to the outside to get the energy. It's as simple as that. It's Latin, that's what they're saying. So in order to remove the judgment that we have for 25 years, in order to remove that, let's call them, if you want, if you prefer, let's call them internal and external. Yeah? I.e. internal and external. So, this morning, I came from Dubai. I arrived here at around 10 o'clock. On the way here, there was a lot of traffic. Actually, there was an accident. When we came by the accident, it says like black Mercedes. Actually, the black Mercedes was exactly like the car of my brother. So the first thing that I thought is what probably is my brother. So I called him. I told him, guess what happened? This is it. But I'm very happy it's not you. Where are you? He told me I'm in Starbucks. I told him, okay, I'm going home. Before going home, I'll go to Starbucks and see you. I went to Starbucks with him. We had some coffee, and he was starting asking me, okay, how was Dubai? And I told him how was Dubai. And at this point, you are all looking at me and said, what are you talking about? Yeah. And I'm going to tell you I don't have to have a point. I'm not here. Right? Do you find this with a lot of people? The photo sabah, you just want to to focus. Yeah, that's what happened with me yesterday. Do you have a point? No, I'm not here. And then he tells you something for the 17th time. He tells me, you told me 16th time. He said, yes, okay. So, we'll not say anything. No, we can say a different thing. Yeah? An extrovert person doesn't mind to dump his head in front of you. Yeah? They don't mind. This is not bad or good. It's a fact. So I come here, I dump my brain, and if things that are not great, they were dumped, it's okay. It's not a big problem. I mean, I said something that is wrong. So what? I correct it. That's an extroversion thing. While an introverted person, you would ask him a question, the first thing that he does is what? Think about it. He puts it in his mind, they struggle with the thinking, and then he speaks. Okay? After 5 minutes, after 2 days, whatever. The process, exactly. And thank you for saying that. I'm not saying that you are thinking about your son, but a lot of parents, they think my son is an introvert. What can I do? Right? I'm not saying you do that, but that's what we, and by doing that sometimes, where we take this person, this child, and we put him in a circle of extroverted people, and we told them, speak. Yeah? You can't imagine how much we're yeah. It was a word that I couldn't say. Okay? So what is the process? Let's think about the process. When you ask something to the extrovert, what does he do or she do? They are more likely to be spontaneous. Yes. And what stimulates their thinking, so one is with the tough if I want to put the light on, what do? Look what's there. Extrovert, to push the button of thinking, what do? They speak. So, you ask me a question, I start speaking. While I'm speaking, I'm what? I'm thinking. And then, after I think, I speak more. So, what I started with might be so different than what I'm ending at. Right? It's not a problem, I'm thinking. Makes sense? You're remembering a lot of people, I think. Yeah? But and another person would say, why did you start speaking before thinking? I cannot, I have to speak the thing. Right? An introverted person, what? What is the process? You ask me a question. I think, I speak, and I think. Whenever I want, as an introverted person, whenever I want to speak, I want to say a diamond. I cannot say something that doesn't make sense. I don't like to say something I'm not convinced of. An extroverted person would say it. It's not a problem. It helps thinking anyway. An introvert person would say, you're crazy. And this is where judgment comes. Okay? And this is what we're talking about. Removing judgment of people. He is normal. She is normal. We have to accept it. Deal with it. Okay? Make sense? Thank you. So, we see it a lot with kids, as the lady mentioned. Okay, we see it with kids. These are Ayla and Yasmin, my daughters. Yeah? So, I think, I'm not sure. It's not a science actually yet. I think Ayla is more introverted, and Yasmin is more extroverted with those. Yeah. But what I told is sometimes we fear so much that our children are introverted because socially they're not accepted as introverted, and we take them and we put them right with your left hand for 3 years, and they become serial killer, and we don't know why. Because when you write with your left hand for a long period of time, you're going to be stressed. Exactly the same thing when we put you in a certain atmosphere that you act out of your personality for a long period of time, out of personality. Okay? A very creative person, when we're getting to that, but a very creative person that sees everything as mixed, put him in an accounting department and he will explode. Numbers. But we're going to talk about that, it's not related. Another thing is brainstorming. What is the first rule of brainstorming? Yeah? No? Absolutely. First thing that comes to mind, say it. There are no stupid ideas. An introvert person would kill himself An extrovert person will just put ideas more and more and more. It's a stupid idea, so what? An introvert person would finish the brainstorming session, go home, the second time, I have a beautiful idea. We finished the brainstorming session. It's not bad, but it helps. So, what's the message here? As in a brainstorming session, give the space for an introverted group to think on their own, and then put it on the table, and give the space to the extrovert person to speak it out, because and a lot of our schools, a lot of our schools of our business settings are now designed for extroverted people. Open offices, and introverted people are not very comfortable with that, and that's because in society they prefer extroverted people for very wrong reasons. Okay. So when you finish this lecture, you go out and you ask the person in front of you, so how did you think about this lecture? He's going to tell you it was good. No, I need to speak about it was good. We spent 1 hour and a half, it was good. No. So this person is not very satisfied. He goes and he starts calling some people. I was in this lecture, oh, I loved it, oh, I hated it, whatever, but I need to speak about it. Why? In order to understand it better. And this person, the other person, might go and write a little something about it in order to understand. You know, a lot of people, they go for a trip for 1 week. They come back. How was your trip in Greece? It was nice. 1 week. It was nice. Other people, they go for half an hour and they come to tell you 3 hours about their half an hour. And that's the difference. Accept them. Know how to deal with them. So, others' awareness. Manage your relationship accordingly. This is my message. Who's happier? The person who is acting by her nature. That's definitely happiness. That's definitely success. That's a different word that I can spend hours on. Again, if you have the emotional intelligence, it's but she's happy. She just don't want to talk about it. Anyway, so I'm sorry. I'm gonna wrap things quicker. Okay. So this person is if he doesn't have anybody to think about, what does he do? He thinks out loud. You know the term. I'm thinking out loud. Now you know why. Because they're thinking. They have to speak it out. Okay? Let's think about this for a second. The sun, where does it get its energy from? Itself. And in this respect, the sun is introverted. The moon, where does it get its energy? In this respect, the moon is extroverted. Think about extroversion and introversion in terms of energy. Okay? So now it's for you to decide on your own, are you more extroverted or introverted? And here I'm going to introduce the wheel that you have in your paper. And this is where we go that you are not a complete extrovert introvert, right? So use this wheel and please put on this one I, and this one E. And decide which one are you more. For example, if I'm saying I'm this much extrovert and this much introvert, or if you have 60, 40, whatever, but 50-50 doesn't exist. Okay? So decide on you. Now you have a table for 5 others. Don't go there, we don't have time. So just think about it for yourself. You can put it as 99-1 or 51-49, but not 50-50. Is anybody struggling with deciding between I and D? No? Some people are? Very good.
What's the percentage?
That means you're thinking, and that's my objective. Now, if you're out of here and you lost your personality, it's not my responsibility. Okay, so moving on. Would an introverted person be a good leader? A lot of people said yes, some people said no. If you're interested in the subject, there's on YouTube Harvard Business School interview called "Can Introverts Lead?" Check it out, see their opinion. Yeah.
Was that a single opinion?
Excuse me?
Was that a single opinion? Or was it a debate?
No, that was a single opinion from a writer that wrote about introversion. And obviously her opinion was, yes, they can do it. So from that perspective, there are a lot of other things. I use this because of the wrong perception of people of introversion. That's why I use it. Okay, let's move to the second dimension faster. The second one is, are you a sensing person or intuitive? So are you an S or an N? First one is I or E. Second one is S or N. What is the difference between S and N? Sensing people, they trust information that they can see or touch or smell. They want to sense it. Kinesthetic. Yeah, they want to sense it in their five senses. Tangible, absolutely. Okay? If I tell them we're going into that route, the first